everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a how to fix a broken nail or a nail that has basically torn. We're going to be fixing my pinky nail today, and if you guys can see that, it has torn right here on the little edge there, and it's about torn about halfway across the nail. So I typically do this treatment when I have a nail that has torn about halfway through. So this middle nail actually had torn about halfway through, and as you can see, it looks completely fixed, it looks completely new, and this will allow your nail to fully grow out so that you don't have to cut down the rest of your nails. And I've also done it to this nail right here because it was starting, like this nail typically starts to break right about here, and this is just a problem nail of mine. Now I know there's a lot of methods out there for fixing broken nails. This is my favorite method. I have tried all of them. I have tried like the tea tree one, or not the tea tree one, the tea bag one. I've tried using like poly gel, and basically the main reason that I use this system is because I do use a dip powder. So the dip powder I'm going to be using today is from Kiara Sky, and this is the powder in natural. You can also use the clear, but I also use a special top coat. This is the IBD Intense Seal top coat. Now you will need a UV lamp or an LED lamp. This says that it's UV dry, but I honestly use an LED lamp and it dries it just the same. And the reason I use this top coat instead of the one that comes with the dip powder is because this won't disintegrate when you use pure acetone. So this top coat is only to be used on acrylics. You do not want to use this on your natural nail. This will not come off with acetone. So you actually do have to file away this top coat. You can use just like a regular nail file or a fine grit file, and then you can soak your dip powder with acetone to remove the dip powder. Do the normal dip powder removal. So you're gonna need dip powder. I personally only use the base coat from Kiara Sky with this system, and then I also use the Seal Protect. So I use steps 2 and 3. You don't have to buy the entire system. These are the two that I absolutely recommend doing, but I do have the entire system. So for today's demonstration, I'm also going to use Bond, which is step 1, and this is basically like a dehydrator. So if you already have a dehydrator, then I would use that and skip step 1, or you can just use some type of alcohol to prep your nails, because that's really all this first step is just to prep your nails and to take all the oils away. I will leave an in-depth review of the entire Kiara Sky nail dip system and how I use it. For the purposes of this video, I'm only going to be using those 3 steps: your IBD Intense Seal, a UV lamp, the natural powder, and then you are going to need some type of brush on glue. So now that nail glue has completely dried, you do want to make sure your nail glue has completely dry. I'm just going to go in with a fine buffing block and just kind of smooth it out. You don't want to use too coarse of a nail file because it will just completely file away the nail glue. All right, so let's go in with the Kiara Sky dip powder. Like I said, I use the natural one, and then I'm going to go in with 1 coat of the base coat. And I tend to do very thin coats of the base coat because I don't really want this to be super thick. Hopefully I'm in frame, you guys. I'm not even sure if I'm in frame, and because I'm trying to work kind of quickly with this. So you don't want to do too thick of a coat. I want this to look as natural as possible. So I'm gonna let this sit for maybe like a minute or 2 so it kind of soaks into the base coat and hardens just a little bit, and then I'm gonna dust it away with my handy dandy little kabuki brush. I keep one of these little kabuki brushes in like a shot glass, and this is what I use to wipe away any powder, but you can use any brush. So I'll be right back once I've wiped away that fine powder. Okie dokie, so we are back and I have dusted it off. So next I'm going to go in with a second coat of base coat, and I'm just going to apply a very, very thin layer of base coat right on the side here. I'm not going to apply it over the full nail. I basically kind of want to reinforce, give just a little bit more of the base coat just on that side of the nail there, but I don't exactly want to go over my entire nail, because you don't want to make your nail kind of lopsided, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to dip it into my dip powder, and again, tap this off, wait a couple minutes, and then dust it off with my little kabuki brush. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we are done with our powder, I don't know why I was just touching that one nail when it's my pinky nail that we're doing, but now that we are done with the powder, I'm gonna go in with Seal Protect, which is step 3, and you wanna apply your Seal Protect before you go in and file. You want to make sure that you apply your Seal Protect before you go in and file. I have made that mistake quite a few times, and the reason why you want to do this before you go in and file is because this is kind of like the step that really activates that dip powder and really makes it harden. So if you do not apply this and you go in to file your nail, it's going to be still kind of soft and it's just going to be a disaster. So this is definitely an important step. So step 2 and step 3 are hands down the 2 most important steps in the entire system. Okay, so now we're gonna go in and file our nail. So I'm gonna file down the sides with a coarse nail file, and then I'm gonna go in and file like on the top of the nail, just to make sure that my entire nail is even. So I like to file from like the top of the nail straight down, just like this. And you don't really need to file too much, just enough to make sure, like I said, your nail is even. It's not too thick in certain places and thin in the other. So just, you know, file and shape your nail as usual. I do think this step is important because I find that if I don't do this step and just skip ahead to the like buffing one, my nail sometimes comes out a little lumpy, especially because I went in and added that little extra layer of dip powder on the side there. So once I'm happy that, you know, it's the perfect thickness for me, I don't like my nail to be too thick in the front or too thick in the back, then I'm gonna go in with my fine grit buffing block and kind of just buff the entire nail, making it nice and smooth. Not ultra smooth, this is still gonna leave a little bit of grit on your nail, but smooth enough where when you put a top coat on, it's not gonna look, you know, it's not gonna look rough or coarse or anything like that. So we're gonna do that and then dust away any excess dust that I have with an alcohol prep pad. All right, we are ready for our last step. So our last step is going to be using this IBD Intense Seal, and then you want to use a UV light. So I'm going to use a UV light here from Melody Susie. This is a relatively inexpensive LED light off of Amazon. I want to say I paid like $20 or less than $20 for it. So I'm going to go in with a thin coat of this. You apply it just like a regular top coat. So again, this is a top coat that you do not want to use. You absolutely do not want to use this on a natural nail, because when you cure it, it's going to require some type of filing in order to get this off of your nail, and you don't want to file on top of your natural nail. And the only reason why I would say it's okay for you to do it with the with the dip powder is because you still have to soak away the dip powder with pure acetone. So it's okay if you file on top of the dip powder and then soak. It's actually recommended that you file your dip powder a little bit before soaking to make the removal process easier. So you're applying this technically on top of the dip powder and not on top of your natural nail. So yeah, you're going to cure this on an LED light for 2 minutes, and you're good to go. So that is it. My nail is completely finished. It has completely hardened, and it will stay nice and shiny like this. Even if you put pure acetone on there, it won't lose its shine. So I absolutely love this. This is my favorite method of keeping my nails nice and long and protected. Unfortunately, I had 2 really nasty breaks. This is kind of like my bad hand anyways, or my right hand, my dominant hand. I tend to open things with my nails that I shouldn't be opening with my nails because, I have long nails and I want to feel like Superwoman. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this tip for growing out your nails or fixing a broken nail, because I know I absolutely hate cutting down my nails when I have a bad break. So give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below if you have any tips or tricks or different methods that you use for keeping your nails from further breaking or fixing a broken nail. I'd love to start a discussion with you down in the comment section. Again, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.